FaZe Clan's entrance into competitive Apex Legends was not a smooth one, as in Split 1, their roster crumbled and broke apart. But in Split 2, Snipedown picked up 2 new teammates, and this new roster, despite having many doubters, managed to qualify for LAN. And at that very LAN, FaZe Clan's ALGS reputation was redeemed.
I think it's just the beginning, because a lot of people, when they would think of FaZe, that the FaZe they saw in Split 1, this is a completely different roster and they are just getting started.
Gotta pull off the bat soon. The FaZe are going on the push, and from above they will deliver the death blow. And FaZe know that it's their time to shine. Whipping around for the 2 versus 3. It is going to be a FaZe win for our second game of the day. We asked yesterday, is this a fluke, or is this the true resurgence of this new FaZe roster? Yeah, go! This is over. I'm gonna kill him.
Just not cute.
Oh shit! Oh my god, I'm about a nut!
Yeah, I know.
I'm about to bust.
FaZe Clan's new roster of Phony, Frexs, and Snipe not only finished top 5 in NA to qualify for LAN, but also went on to place 5th on the international stage. Welcome back to The Reset, where today we are going to examine that LAN run by FaZe Clan. But first, if you enjoy ALGS content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me over on Twitter and Twitch, and if you want to see ways to support me even further, click the link in my description to check out my Patreon. As many of you know, considering that this is my most viewed video of all time, Split 1 for FaZe was not a very clean entrance into Apex. If you want to watch the full story, go watch that video, but quick recap: Snipedown retired from Halo, came back to Apex, picked up Albralelie and SlurpeeG. They go on to finish 20th in North America, have a few blowups along the way, and eventually part ways with each other. Now, Snipe still has FaZe Clan backing him, and for a short period, it seemed like he wanted to IGL.
I did want to consider trying to IGLing, and it didn't take very long for me to realize that I had just spent an entire first Pro League split. Like, I came back to Apex, I didn't do enough research, like you mentioned. Mac was trying to IGL for the first time, and it was rough on him. Slurp really hadn't played much comp. I had been a year, it was destined for failure, and I think a lot of people even saw that from the outside, was like, you need to fit in with more of a set team instead of doing that. And when I thought about IGLing, I was like, why would I want to do that again, where I'm trying to learn how to IGL? Mac just tried that. I'm not gonna like do the same thing twice and possibly throw a whole nother Pro League split.
But eventually he decided against it and begins to look for an IGL to fill the void.
So I started hardcore looking for other IGLs. Chrono was our coach at the time, and he was even vouching for Phony like right away, and he was his first vouch, honestly. And so I just started watching Phony a lot, and this is when he was still with ESA, and their roster was really, you know, performing well in scrims at times, and showing more consistency to be a top team. And then they killed it in that final week, and that was actually, like, I had reached out to Phony before that final tournament where they won the LCQ and secured their spot for LAN. And, you know, and then I was like, hey man, you need to, like, you know, Phony's like, I need to focus on this, and then he needs to focus on the tournament and focus on LAN, and that was fine. And as soon as, you know, LAN was happening and we were talking about things before that, I knew he was the guy that I kind of wanted to build any type of roster around. And it was, if I could land Phony, then I feel like we could pull almost any other third that we wanted.
Good IGLs are hard to come by, and the up-and-coming IGL talent is even more difficult to find, but Phony was a rising star in North America. He had just IGL'd ESA to qualifying for Pro League, then finishing 4th in North America, including an NA record 5-game win in the regional finals, and of course, qualifying for LAN and making it to the finals lobby. Phony had been competing all the way back since 2019, but this split was the one where he truly made a name for himself, and with accomplishment comes recognition, and with recognition comes opportunity.
So I was playing with Kepra and Luda at the time, and then
all of a sudden I get Chrono reaching out to me first. He's like, hey, you might get a message from Snipe, you know, just ignore it for now. You know, you just got big things coming. Just focus on your finals. And so next thing you know, literally not even a day after, I guess Snipe couldn't wait. He just literally messaged me. You were basically saying how you wanted to take me in and be a part of the team, that you wanted to build a roster around my name.
This offer from Snipe may have also been a dream come true. When you look back on Phony's history, he has been a FaZe fan for quite some time, even having submitted a FaZe 5 video to try and join the org a few years ago.
It honestly felt surreal. You know, I didn't think I would, you know, end up joining FaZe, especially not competitively. Ever since I was a child that I always wanted to be on FaZe, ever since I was watching, you know, people like Jev, Rain, Adapt, you know, all of them and in their prime in content, I just felt like I knew I belonged here as a competitive player.
So Snipe has his IGL, and now together they're looking for a third to fill out the roster. At first, many expected it to be Luda coming with Phony from ESA, but instead, FaZe had their eyes on the former Space Station IGL, Frexs.
Well, so before LAN, right? Because we know, you know, our team was breaking up. We all knew we were gonna break up, so we all just kind of wanted to have a good last tournament, you know. And we would have had a good tournament, but I got super sick, so it was kind of like a letdown because I got COVID during the tournament, and I literally like couldn't even play the game. So like I think we got like 16th or something, so we were kind of bummed, and we knew Dropped was leaving, and so I didn't know if I wanted to keep. I didn't know if if I wanted to like look for a third or just like start fresh. And then, you know, I got a message from, you know, FaZe, and I was like, they were, you know, asking me if I wanted to, you know, try out. And I was like, bro, I'm down, you know. Like, I wanted to start fresh because, you know, I've been teaming with Zen and Drod for 2 years, you know. It's been a long time. So whenever they messaged me, I was like, I'm down to try something, you know, try something new. I've teamed with Snipe before, so I know, you know, I know how he is, and you know, I talked to Phony. Phony's one of my good friends, so I was like, you know what, I'm down, you know, like let's see how it is.
What people don't really know is you can't just build a roster off anyone, you know. They have to really complement each other, in a sense. And I feel like Frexs is solely a player that could fit into any single team. He provides a role that a lot of teams really lack. A lot of teams think they need fraggers, when really they need someone in the middle, like an anchor or someone to support them and helping the IGL, but also helping the fragger do what they do. You know, they're able to allow them to go beyond what they can and not limit themselves. They allow them to basically push their limits. And I feel like Frexs being the sole anchor, being the middleman, you know, watching over Snipe, but also making sure that Snipe's like also going towards me, it makes like the whole team just go full circle instead of someone just being off track.
So Frexs joins the team and their roles are clear. Phony is gonna IGL, and he thrives at both the overarching macro plans as well as microing the specifics in the midst of rotations and fights. Snipe is the fragger who's gonna push forward, look for fights, and create openings, and Frexs is gonna be the support, being the intermediary between both of his teammates. With his previous IGLing experience, he has a strong understanding for how to support his IGL in his calls and when to suggest ideas, but that knowledge also helps him aid Snipe down. He has been in Phony's shoes in the past, so he knows what an IGL might want out of their fragger and support in moments where they need to play together. Side note on Frexs' resume, he has played Apex competitively since its very beginning. He is one of only 7 players to have made it to every single LAN. In 2021 NA Champs, when bottom 21, Frexs was on the other team last alive, also on match point, being 1 fight away from winning the whole thing. And that same scenario happens when Dark Zero wins the 2022 ALGS Championship. Once again, Frexs and Space Station are also on match point, and they are the team in the final fight against Dark Zero. I bring all that up to say it's clear that Frexs is one of the most experienced pros in the whole scene. Earlier, I already went through Phony's accomplishments and his impressive amount that he did with ESA, and then Snipe Down's resume in esports as a whole needs no explanation. And yet, going into this split, many doubted this team, but the real ones knew. To start off the split, FaZe came out swinging and proved the doubters wrong. Their first match day, they finished second. Their second match day, they finished third. And then they followed that up with their third match day, finishing fourth. After just 3 match days, they had accumulated 60 total points and were well on their way to making LAN. Their final few match days were a bit up and down, 2 of which they had placed in the top 5, and the other 2 were a bit rough. And that variance at the end of the split led to doubters once again going into LAN. Once again, the the real ones knew.
Well, what's your guys' dark horse team? What's one team you don't think anyone's keeping an eye out for that can make a crazy run at LAN?
This might just be because I am ride or die with this man, but I'm saying FaZe Clan, my goat, Phony. This guy,
God, this guy's
he's one
bro.
match point before. He's one match point before. He's got the experience on LAN. Frexs has been to, I think, every single LAN that's ever happened. He has never missed a LAN. Snipe's going to be motivated like crazy because this man hasn't been to a LAN since, was it Poland?
Yeah.
I think it was a long time ago. Like, I don't even know when his last LAN was.
Long time.
But he hasn't been to one in a while because of the Halo stuff, and he missed some others and all that. But I think, like I said, if we're picking a dark horse who nobody's talking about winning, I would take FaZe.
From your analysis, I don't want you to go into picks yet, but give me a dark horse team that not a whole lot of people might expect to be doing well at LAN, but from what you've watched, you could see them kind of surprising people when they make it there.
I've said this one before, and I don't know if other people view them as a dark horse team, but I think that FaZe is a team that could surprise a lot of people. They're my dark horse team that I think could really show up. FaZe, though, knew what they were capable of, and making LAN was simply a byproduct of their talent and hard work. Now, heading into LAN, they did have somewhat of a controversial moment. ZZ, their coach at the time, was dropped from the team. ZZ goes on to become the Dark Zero coach, which leads into some Twitter drama, but they decide to replace him with Dan, the former coach and analyst from the old Oxygen roster.
It honestly just felt like a healthier environment. No shade to Nick, but it was just a healthier environment all around. We felt like Nick wasn't really the type of person to mesh well with our team. It's not nothing towards him. Like he was doing fine as a coach. You know, he was giving us, you know, some wrong information, but you know, things slip as a coach. Like you get feeded wrong information from an analyst, or the information you take, you just explain it wrong. And towards the team, it's just towards us, the information that he was given is something that it's not an ego thing that I already knew. It's just more of the fact that it just wasn't helping us as a team. It was better suited for a team like Dark Zero. That's why he went to go join Dark Zero. You know, he's like basically best friends with Zero and them. So
I want to add on to that. The Nick's environment of what he needs to be the best coach possible, Dark Zero has. We weren't able to provide him with what he needed on FaZe. Like, there were a couple things after he joined where he was like, I need this and this, and it was like we couldn't get that to pass. And Dark Zero has, I don't think people realize Dark Zero has so much support in the Apex space of like coaches, analysts, like managers, like people behind the scenes that are putting every single thing they can into it. And it's just, it wasn't what Nick needs was not what we could provide, and what Dan brought us was what we felt like we could work with without it being too much to affect us.
Yeah, Dan just brought in something healthier for us, where we didn't have to like, oh, we need FaZe to sign this analyst to help Nick. We need him to do this to help Nick. And I feel like Dan was able to flourish here because he didn't need help from anybody, like, to flourish. He just provides a healthier environment for us, and that's really what we needed.
And once FaZe got to LAN, things started off a bit shaky, as in their first 4 games, they put up a whopping 0 total points. The doubters felt justified, and the trolling online began. They managed to scrape together a win in the final game of that first group stage set, but they still only had a total of 24 points. But in their second set, they came out strong, finishing inside the top 4 in 4 of the 6 games, picking up a total of 52 points. Let's jump quickly into game number 6 to see some examples of what makes FaZe a strong team. In this game, they're going to finish second with 9 total kills. They land at launch pad, and the circle is going to pull towards Cascades. The rotate should be totally free as they have prio to this zone, so they take a bit of time to loot and then start rotating. When they reach Cascades, the plan is to craft, but E6 show up and a fight breaks out.
We may have an audience. A rival landed close by.
You ready?
Right on
Keep going.
Kind of close. Okay. I can't.
They're under. I can walk for you. I'm ulting behind it. I can walk for you. I ulted. I know, I'm looking. Yeah. One's on your roof.
On my roof? On this roof?
Yeah. She's I crashed. They're fucked up.
Okay.
One's in your building. I'm back.
Down me. One's in the building. He's down.
One shot, first floor.
He's on my roof.
Guys, outside weak, cracked, and inside cracked. On the roof cracked. On the roof was cracked as well.
I'm swinging.
Wait.
What is he? What is he? Help me, help me. She's going roof. She's going inside. What is he?
You can heal him. I got you. Get the door. Watch the roof. He's gonna try and get you on the roof.
You're good. He's ready. Bad.
Try and finish this. Shut up. Where is he?
He's near second floor. I don't know. Hey, I'll swing it out.
I have the door. He can't open it.
Okay.
You can res me there. Okay, shut up. Give me a second.
He's selling. He's swinging to me. He's trying to finish me.
Okay. I'm resing. Just let him finish you. Let me know.
He's armor swapping. He's coming back. He's coming back.
Armor swap that.
Watch out roof.
He's one. Nice.
Good shit.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go, baby.
Get shit on.
Good shit.
Now, Frexs went pretty crazy right there, and FaZe get the win, but also we saw all of their roles on display. Snipe is going to open up the fight with the Bangalore ultimate getting major damage, which allows him to take space. Once he's taken that space, he both cracks the guy inside the building and the Valkyrie who drops down on him. Later, Phony also gets knocked, but he was calming out of his mind on player movements to help Frexs clutch up. And of course, Frexs, as the anchor, has to be prepared for these situations. He's usually going to be in the back on fights and has to be ready to clutch up and capitalize on his teammates' damage, or make crucial decisions under pressure like reviving Snipe, which then leads to the win on the fight.
Nice.
Good shit.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go, baby.
Get
Let's go.
shit on.
Good shit.
Fuck you, Slayer.
Now, immediately after, they lock back in on the game, and we see Phony's lobby knowledge on full display. He knows the usual rotate timings and pathings of the teams in the lobby, and knows the only team they should have to worry about coming from behind them is Luminosity.
I'm gonna pop right here.
I'm going for banner.
I'm just popping heal.
Yep.
You need to get roof. One of you.
I'm just fucking healing for a second.
Okay, I can go roof.
Alright, we have LG's barely moving into zone.
Okay.
They just finished fucking armor and shit.
Okay.
It's small, and this doesn't really affect them in this moment considering how far away LG are, but that lobby knowledge shows he's done his homework and knows for each zone what the risks are for the play he chooses to make. We then see the roles start to kick into action later in this game as Frexs is going to move to secure the building they later want to hold and starts relaying info to Phony. I'm not going to show it all because it's just communicating, but Frexs relays a lot of information quickly to his team. He's calming things like economy management, other teams' movements, potential blind spots, and these comms carry into fights as well. In specific moments where Phony is frontlining, like in this next fight here, Frexs will step up and make calls. Remember, he was in IGL previously, so he has an understanding of when it is necessary.
I'm gonna walk with Phony for a second.
Yeah, walk with me.
They're evacing.
Okay, I'm gonna walk with Phony for a second. Is there anyone there, Phony?
Careful.
They're near me.
I'm looking in.
I'm back.
Watch out, Watson. Crypto one.
Crypto one.
Remember, get the blue team. Don't get the ball. No. I got you by your whole fuck. I'm playing it
Don't
off.
full commit.
He knew the location of multiple teams who were just waiting for an overextension, and he's able to call his team back. And later we see a moment that I feel like is a defining one for this new iteration of FaZe compared to the old team that we saw in Split 1. Snipe and Frexs are about to make two separate comms. Phony chooses to aid Frexs momentarily and sets up Snipe to watch their back.
Team up here.
I like this spot's energy. Let's go.
Can I go to the next building and see if there's any sniper ammo here?
Let me walk out with you.
Yeah,
Let me
that's what I'm
from
saying.
underneath.
Yeah.
Watch east snipe. Make sure no one forces us. Don't die in the middle of the fucking open.
I'm not going to, bro.
Snipe is adamant though that they have an opportunity for KP on this north side, and he mentions it multiple times, but he remains patient. Phony then later gives him the green light to make a play if possible.
I'm telling you, I know there's a play that we can make to get some KP right here, but this team's getting lit up here.
Yeah, you can look for KP there.
like
Watch
the
out for
feel of that
evacs,
spot.
like I said,
Let's
or
go.
Valko on a roof.
This is gonna end right here, no?
Yes.
Someone might slam underneath us too.
Okay.
Guys, kills up here happening right now. We can look at this.
Okay, I'm looking. I have this.
I'm doing this on my own.
You have range?
Careful, someone
Yes.
attack.
Oh yeah, he's right here.
You can play roof, Rex.
I cracked him. Watson.
You can play roof, Rex.
I have an enemy out there.
Saw you, okay? Just don't go crazy. I knocked one.
I got the other.
Nice.
Snipe, although this is his first tournament as Bangalore, has the confidence to overextend and try and make a play. And although Snipe is technically making this play somewhat solo, Frexs, of course, is always supporting one of his two teammates. Snipe is looking for KP here, Phony is analyzing the endgame play, so Frexs chooses to support Snipe by sniping from afar, and he and Snipe Down pick up 2 KP for their troubles. This play isn't crazy impressive, but to me it does signify the difference between this FaZe roster and the old one. Think back to that infamous clip of the old FaZe roster blowing up on the bridge. It all stemmed back from Snipe looking for a specific opportunity to garner fights. Because of everything that had happened prior, he leads the team down into Epicenter and the game goes wrong. But in this specific game, Phony not only is focused on the end game and prioritizes their position, but he still is enabling Snipe to reach out and potentially get KP. And Snipe is of course trusting in his IGL to not overextend, play that position, and show restraint when necessary. Anyway, FaZe is gonna chill, waiting until the circle pushes Noctum off their height. They punish Noctum for it, grab another 3 kills, and then finish in second behind Oxygen. After this set, they play the third and final group stage set and are headed into the winner's bracket. And this is where the drama for FaZe really kicks off. We begin on World's Edge, and in the first 3 games, they managed to pick up a total of 21 points. In the bracket stage, 33 to 34 points is the typical cutoff, so they are well on their way to heading to the finals lobby. But in the final 3 games on Stormpoint, FaZe struggled, putting up only 10 points and losing a tiebreaker to Gambare Otusan. The tiebreaker would be decided by which team had the best individual game. FaZe's best game was only 9 points, while Gambare had a 19-point win.
I wasn't even like sad, I was just mad.
Yeah, because when things like that happen, you start thinking about every game where you could have made up those points. You start literally all of those events flow in your head at once. Like, if I just did this differently, I could have got a point. If I did this differently, I could have been this here. I could have been here. I could have been here. I could have been top 3. I could have been top 5. You know, all that flows into your head the moment you see where you stand in the lobby.
It was depressing, bro. Holy crap.
We were literally right there refreshing the page. And as soon as it popped up and we saw that 11th and we saw that we lost by a tiebreaker and we saw the team that beat us in a tiebreaker, we were just tilted off the face of the earth.
Although the point of this video is to highlight how FaZe did well at LAN, they did have one Achilles heel that we need to talk about, Stormpoint. Stormpoint was not only a problem for them in the winner's bracket, but it plagued them throughout the entire split. During their run in North America, they averaged 7.8 points per game on World's Edge and only 5.5 on Stormpoint. At LAN, they averaged 7 points per game on World's Edge and only 4.8 on Stormpoint.
Well, I knew that World's Edge was definitely a better map, and I've always known that it's a better map because I solely, you know, love that map a lot. No matter what team I am on, like, I can IGL that map like nothing. When it comes to Stormpoint, it's like more of a you need to take fights, you need to clear space. And I feel like our team chemistry wasn't there yet when it comes to fighting. You know, our team chemistry is really off balance when it comes to fighting. And I feel like that's why we really do strong on World's Edge, because we don't necessarily have to fight as much as we do on Stormpoint, especially from our POI.
But this problem was one that they would have to overcome immediately, as in the loser's bracket, we're going to be beginning on Stormpoint. And the stakes have been raised. There is no more safety net. If they place outside of the top 10 in this set, their run is over.
Shit, I was feeling like it was all or nothing.
Put up or shut up.
Yeah, it was all or nothing. Yeah. It was like we either do it here or we just go home.
We were just playing, like, honestly, we were definitely playing different because we were definitely playing a lot safer because we just needed to get points. Like, we didn't, we just wanted to get points. Like, that's all that mattered at that point.
We knew it was on the line was the champ spot too. Like, we had that. Like, we were like, we need to just get enough points.
Game 1 starts off rough as they only pick up 2 points, but in Game 2, they get a good circle pull and take advantage of the Stormcatcher zone to finish in 3rd with 4 KP to grab 11 total points. In Game 3, they take advantage of a Fish Farms pull and get another 5 points. So as a whole on Stormpoint, they got 18 total points. Once again, the cutoff historically for the bracket stage is 33-34 points, so they're on pace to hit that number. And luckily for them, we're heading back to World's Edge, which is where they thrive. But in game number 4, there's one problem. We're getting one of those weird no-name zones to the east of Fragment, and there are quite a few pulls here, and FaZe unfortunately doesn't get the one they were hoping for. This forces them to pull off a rotate with less than ideal loot. They end up forcing into the bottom floor of Dreamfire's building, and it doesn't work out, leading to Phony being last alive as a solo, and he eventually dies in 10th. That's only a 2-point game, so they have 20 points total. Although it's certainly doable, we have 2 games remaining, and their LAN lives are on the line. The pressure is truly on for the first time in this tournament, and pressure creates diamonds. FaZe respond. The next game is nothing spectacular, but they get 9 total points. And so with 29 points heading into this final game, they only need a handful to make the projected cutoff.
Tough for J-Lings as they watched on. They now know that they will not be in the grand finals. They drop down into 11th position.
I mean, FaZe are still holding on as well. FaZe are currently in 9th position. They're only 3 points ahead of Pioneers as it stands.
But as soon as Realize or Entropic go out...
Speaking of FaZe...
They should be okay.
Speaking of FaZe, they're gone! FaZe are out! Oh, that changes everything!
FaZe still in 9th at 33 points.
Popping all the way down. Tiff, this top 10. FaZe, man, they had such an issue with the tiebreaker in the winner's bracket and had to drop down into elimination round 2 and faced yet another tiebreaker on their 9th and 10th.
In that final game, they narrowly grabbed 4 points to reach 33 total, and they do end up qualifying for finals, albeit cutting it awfully close in 10th place.
I was happy as hell.
Yeah, I was super locked for sure.
I started celebrating with Greek for a little, and then I immediately went home. I freaking Frexs fell asleep like at what, 9 p.m.
Yeah, I was gone.
Like
bro.
he was gone. He was tired from the whole day. We played for so long that day.
Yeah.
I fell asleep like at 10:30, 11, and then Snipe. I don't even know what Snipe was doing, but Snipe was happy as fuck that we made it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It was really good.
And I know that this run has been a roller coaster of emotion, but on final Sunday, none of that matters. It's a clean slate. FaZe is at a disadvantage as they have no starting points, which means they're going to need to work that little bit harder to reach match point, and many going into the finals doubted FaZe. But once again, the real ones knew.
Now, some people have asked about my pick, my dark horse pick. To me, and people have been calling me BS for this one, I don't care what you think. I think FaZe Clan is a good dark horse option. Phony has won match point format before in NA, the hardest region. Y'all can doubt me all you want. I don't care. FaZe, it would be surprising if they won. Come on, don't lie. You would be surprised if they won. Also, Frexs has had immense success. Frexs has been very close to winning match point format multiple times on LAN in the past. So I'm putting FaZe as a dark horse.
Anyway, once the lobby kicks off, things don't get easier for FaZe as TSM and Dark Zero roar out to the early match point leads after only 3 games. At this point, FaZe was sitting in 9th, just in the middle of the rest of the pack, all far behind the 2 match point teams, but they remained focused on the task at hand.
You know, seeing TSM and Dark Zero automatically get in like the first 3 games, yes, it is worrying because I want to at least get top 3 before they try to close it out. At that point, I'm just like, I do want to win the LAN, but there's things that are out of my control where TSM could still win the LAN that I can't control. So I at least have to get as many points as I can to secure that top 3 spot.
Now, surprisingly, on Stormpoint in games 3 and 4, they actually picked up 19 total points, which put them at 31 total heading back into World's Edge. But this is where we see some unfortunate problems. At 31 points, they need a monster game 5 if they want to have a chance to close it out on this map in game 6. Otherwise, it's most likely that this tournament is going to end before FaZe either has a chance at the win or on Stormpoint. We have already discussed their problems with Stormpoint, but the biggest being that on LAN, they haven't actually won a single game on that map. They only placed top 3 on Stormpoint twice. So based on the map rotation for finals, they could have benefited from some starting points by advancing through the winner's bracket, and of course a bit of a stronger start in their first 2 games on World's Edge. Even 5 or so extra points going into this game 5 makes it a little bit more attainable that they could reach match point if they have a big game. But a big game never comes, as they have an unfortunate finish in a climatizer zone where they die in 8th with 0 KP.
My biggest regret is not rotating faster on that climatizer zone, because we got stuck in the building, and if we had that back platform, there's a chance that we were match point going into the game that we then won. Like, we would have had to have had like 11 kills, but if we had an 11 kill win, we had the best spot in zone. That spot ended up winning. Like, 11 kills from that spot is not unrealistic, and there was a chance that we could have gone back to back just like Phony did in the ESA finals.
Yep, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's that you start thinking about every game where you could have made up points.
So heading into Game 6, they have 33 total points, and they're sitting in 8th. It's only a matter of time until TSM or Dark Zero close it out. And now is the time for FaZe to truly prove what they are made of. Then Game 6 happens. Oh my gosh, TSM's gonna win. Hold on, Xset scanning TSM. Where's FaZe? FaZe is down there. Xset on the other side. Wait! Xset going onto the height on TSM! This is TSM versus Xset! Oh my gosh! Xset clutches! Xset clutches! And FaZe take the game! I can't believe Xset clutched that. I can't believe that. Xset just went crazy. My heart is racing, guys. Oh my gosh. I think FaZe might be on match point now. TSM, DZ, both on match point. FaZe has reached match point. Oxygen has reached match point. Xset has reached match point. Guys, 5 NA teams are on match point right now. Oh my gosh. You all laughed at me when I said that FaZe was a dark horse. Well, who's laughing now? FaZe is landing at Climatizer, and it's a staging pull. But this is a nasty counter pull zone where most of the lobby is expecting it to potentially go more north, even as far as Lava Fissure. Even FaZe is expecting it to go that far.
That west zone. Probably like
looks like a lava fissure.
Yeah, probably a fissure.
But they're really far away from the ring, so they're going to be playing with a late rotate strategy anyway. They craft up, and then they move towards Epicenter to grab ring console, and once they hit it, we get a crucial calm.
One yet this whole fucking tournament.
Yeah.
Wait for you to hit beacon.
I'm hitting it right now. Do we want to double craft and survey or nah?
Depends how far the zone is.
I like the feel of that.
Oh, that's just gonna pull back.
They are expecting the counter pull, but they want to be sure. It's a late rotate anyway, so they want to wait for the ring to close and then hit the ring console again. And this information is crucial.
Here comes the split. I think this might be like this one or something. I don't know.
He's hitting beacon now.
Nope, it's pulling down.
Ooh, this is a good fucking... That's really good information.
Yeah,
they just hit it.
We could come through Harvester.
We're gonna wrap up and hit that.
We should. I mean, I don't even know if we should hit it. I think we should just wrap through Harvester.
That's what I think.
Although they expected the first counter pull, the pull even further back into the east side of staging is big. This is going to allow them to wrap freely to Harvester. And look at this map here. Look at how many teams are on this north side of zone. Meanwhile, we only have 4 teams in the next circle, 2 still at Thermal, and the only team that will be in FaZe Clan's way is going to be Optic over at Harvester. But even then, there's a lot of space for both teams to coexist. So this rotate is free and should secure them good positioning. Luckily for them too, on their rotate, Fire Beavers, who decide to push out of the landslide tunnel, are gonna go engage with Riddle, which allows FaZe free passage. Eventually they make it to Harvester and they decide to play a little bit of a low profile for a lot of this game, slowly making their way in as zone closes tighter and tighter. They eventually reach this awkward point in the game though. They're holding the low ground at the trench by Harvester and have to cross the open space towards staging. The plan comes out from Phony and chaos ensues.
You're definitely gonna have to fucking bangle something, I'm not gonna lie.
Which way do you think I'm gonna bangle?
Are they playing all that space? Like everything?
Yes, I think so. Yes, I think they are. Yes, they are. Yes.
You might have to wall straight down middle, bro. I'm not gonna lie, we just look left for kills.
Okay. So we're gonna play left side of the wall?
Yes, we have to, yes.
And then where do you want to bangle, do you think?
Left.
Probably left. Okay.
We're gonna look for picks left and just walk it up.
Okay. They won't.
Go to the wall. Let's play left of it.
Yeah, I'm slow healing.
Only right.
Left. We're good here. Look at me.
Yeah, where's Noah?
Am I jumping?
Zero thing above us.
Yeah. My ult. One's on the left. All right here. Dead. One more. Dead. Res me.
Okay,
Dropping armor.
I'm one.
Listen, you're gonna have to smoke.
I don't know if I have any.
I don't have an armor.
At the bed.
I smoked. You gotta res again, maybe?
I'm batting.
Dude, it felt like a little pebble in like the middle of this giant field. I don't know. It was crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, I was really scared because I did not want to die after clearing that team out. But I knew we had good chances of living the moment Snipe called that he had a safe spot.
I'm good right here. We're gonna save right here.
Yeah, you finding that little rock, bro, actually saved our game.
Dude, you guys were getting hit from both sides like over and over, and I was like, I think it's safe. Dude, it was like this one little dip that like went down just a little further than the rest, and it hit us completely behind the boxes.
Somehow, someway, they don't die. They once again wall straight up the middle to push to this left side. They throw a ton of nades to prevent XSET from pushing out into their space, and they secure this little low ground tunnel. Now, XSET is going to be on their backside. 100 Thieves is down to a solo, being only Scurry, and TSM is on the height, and also the only team left alive on match point. They could end it right here with a win. But XSET and Phony both knew this. XSET was planning to grief TSM. FaZe couldn't. They don't have Horizon, so they're planning on waiting for TSM to drop later in the game and hoping to win that way. But because FaZe actually can't reach the high ground, Phony does not actually comm to his teammates that TSM is on height. He didn't want them to accidentally become fixated on TSM up there. XSET launches up to the height and they engage with TSM, but on the low ground, FaZe moves as well. Because FaZe moves at this exact moment, TSM is actually slightly distracted trying to punish them on the cross. This gives XSET the upper hand in their fight above, and they get the wipe. But as this is all happening on the height, on the low ground, we see one of the craziest plays in ALGS history. Scurry, the solo from 100 Thieves, knows that TSM is on height. He has Horizon, and he runs out towards FaZe, and he throws them his Q so that they can take height. And FaZe sees the moment.
Yeah, go!
So FaZe takes the Game 6 win and they reach match point eligibility. Now, side note on the Scurry play, I've seen quite a few people say that he wasn't actually trying to throw his Q for FaZe. He confirmed in the lobby afterwards that he actually was throwing it for them.
After we said, yeah, we talked about it because we saw it in the game chat. We saw it in the game chat. We were like, bro, this dude literally threw Q for us. Who was that? And then they said we saw that it was 100 Thieves. Like, bro, Scurry's the GOAT for that. That's what we said in the chat because we knew he threw the Q for us, but we didn't know that they talked about it till after we watched the VOD.
And also, once again, I know that XSET technically wiped TSM before FaZe ever reached the height, but when Scurry threw the Q, TSM was still alive, so it's the thought that counts. Anyway, point being, FaZe is on match point eligibility. They are one of only 5 teams to be heading into Game 7 on Storm Point with a potential to win the LAN. But everything goes wrong early on. KCP, who land at Shipfall, are expecting Zone to pull more to the east of Barometer, and they rotate to the nut right outside of the POI.
Get the car, get nut fast.
This might be open field landing. We have guards regardless.
This causes a log jam on rotation. 100 Thieves also want to play this nut and start to fly in on the evac tower towards the hill. Meanwhile, FaZe coming from Launchpad are driving over in their Trident and approaching that same hill. Frexs calls for them to check the nut and he jumps out of the car.
To my right?
Yeah. We should check the nut here.
Oh, we're all or nothing here. There's a team there.
Not team nut.
Go to the bridge. Go to the bridge. Go to the bridge.
Oh, fuck. I jumped out. Thought we were checking it. Oh, bro. Okay. Are you guys dead?
Yep.
Meanwhile, Phony slams on the gas and he and Snipe barrel down the side of the hill. This causes KCP to push out to try and kill them. They're also getting shot by Oxygen and multiple other teams from afar. This gets followed by 100 Thieves launching down the side of the hill to force KCP to push even further onto FaZe. Meanwhile, Frexs as a solo is left alive, but KCP is camping the banners so he isn't able to recover his teammates. And you can tell that this mistake is really killing Phony inside during their comms after.
I thought we were going to get out, boys. I'm not going to lie. I feel like we should have.
We should not have kept going forward.
You said enough. I honestly didn't see the cat door, I'm not going to lie.
Well, I mean, either way, we should 100% should just fucking
we should just
jump
back
out,
up.
you know?
It is, yeah.
It's fine,
Yeah.
it's fine, it's fine. It's all good.
Think you're able to ever see our banners?
I mean, I can maybe try.
I rushed it, my bad.
No, you're good, you're good, you're good. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Phony was driving for a second.
He was driving.
Oh, you were driving. Oh, fuck.
But the genesis of this moment stems right back here.
Driving this.
Let me drive.
Yeah, let him drive.
No, that's fine. It's fine. I'll drive.
Okay.
Snipe said, "Yo, Phony, let me drive." I said, "Nah, I'll drive." That was rule number 1. Never let me drive. Right?
Okay.
I'm underage. So then we start driving, and then I'm like, "Look at the zone. We could try to get nut." All right. 100 thieves rotating hella fast for no reason. Anyways, they land right next to us. Bam. I was like, "Oh shit! A team landed us next to us. I don't think I could turn around. Let me boost forward. Oh shit! There's a team in nut." This motherfucker jumped out.
You did.
He was gone.
Oh,
Me and Snipe's a real one. He stayed with me.
He stayed with you. So it wasn't even Snipe Down's fault.
Yeah, it was. This was the only mistake. Well, nah, I'm lying. But this was the only big mistake that I've ever made in this tournament.
And you fucked up.
And it was.
And you're owning up to it though.
That's
progress. That's progress.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. It's usually Snipe Down's fault no matter what, bro. That's crazy. You're the GOAT, man. No,
I'm not gonna lie. I should have let him drive.
You should have
let him drive.
Because if he did that shit, that's good.
Yeah, if he did it, that's fine.
Yeah.
If I did it, damn.
No, damn.
I go to sleep haunted by that.
Well, Frexs is the original driver, and then Frexs has basically said he doesn't want to drive either, and I was like, I will drive. Like, I do not care. Frexs is boosting into random, like, objects all the time. It's like, all right, here we go. We're boosting
I actually
it.
know how to drive the car. It's just that when we need to hop out or we need to boost somewhere, I'm just like, that should be taken to someone with better intuition. That should be taken to Snipe. Because me boosting into a team thinking it was going to be free, which it should have been, to be honest, was like a fucking bad mistake. And that literally costed us a game where we definitely could have gotten third, you know, overall in the day. We definitely could have won something, you know.
The reason I don't like driving the cars is because I like staring at the map to see, like, I'm just like looking at the maps, and when
that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
And then when I'm driving, it's just both of us are looking at the maps, and whenever you have to look at the map, you have to like stop the car. So I'm like, I might as well just not drive.
Give me the. I'm driving the car, and that's where we're gonna be at for that.
Frexs is the solo, tries to do as much as he can, but he ends up dying later in the game in 13th place to KCP, and the run comes to an end as Dark Zero closes out the match point finals lobby. FaZe managed to finish in 5th, but to be fair to them, they actually could have potentially finished in 4th. Earlier in the tournament during game number 3, Dropped from Optic actually crashes, and he dies in Storm due to the crash. XDET gets awarded with a kill because earlier in the game, they were the ones who dealt the last piece of damage to Dropped, but that was like a few minutes earlier. So they get this kill. This actually gives them a 1-point lead over FaZe in the final standings. If both teams had tied, FaZe would have won the tiebreaker because of their Game 6 win being the best game between the two teams. So Drop's PC crashing not only screws over Optic, but it also unfortunately cost FaZe $20,000.
We were supposed to make 4th. That's fucking 4th. Bullshit. I don't even know how Optic got a free kill. That's free point. That's the dumbest shit I've ever known to ape.
XDET got the free kill, yeah.
Oh, yeah, XDET.
Oh, bro, I saw the logs for that. It was almost 4 minutes prior of damage, of 15 damage. And they got the kill for it.
So dumb, bro.
While we're on
4
it,
minutes
real quick,
insane.
How'd y'all feel about that whole thing? Because obviously, what was that, like $20,000 difference? That's
I felt like
placement
it was
difference.
Bogus.
Yeah, definitely.
That was some bullshit for sure.
I feel like it shouldn't be allowed in Apex, like, but then a lot of shit slides by in Apex, so I'm not even surprised.
We talked about it a little earlier before we started recording, but what are y'all's thoughts on the pause feature and its viability, and should it be used for situations like that moving forward?
I think they should be able to pause whenever they fucking want to, because I mean, if there's millions of dollars on the line, bro. If my game crashes and they can't pause because some other team is fighting, bro, like, dude, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you should be able to pause at any time, at any moment. I don't care.
I'm kind of like
if someone's fighting,
advocate on this, like, I don't know, I see both sides very clearly.
Yeah,
like,
it's really a double-edged sword. There's
one person is like not greater than the sum of the rest of the game. Like, if there's two teams in a fight, like hard gunfight, and one person crashes, like, if they pause the game for that one person, that screws up now 7 other people,
right?
Rather than like the game flowing out normally. So it's so situational that you would have to have a like top tier pro player being behind that function of if the pause feature could be used or not, because if zone was moving and there were multiple things, like, you can't pause there. Like, it would really have screwed the game. I don't know the context of the situation. I actually didn't go back and see exactly when he lagged out or crashed. If nothing was happening, like,
far. Yeah, nothing was happening, but he lagged out pretty far.
Yeah, he landed
the zone wasn't moving or anything.
Then, I was gonna say, because I was under the impression zone was like moving, like it was like closing, and he crashed, and then he was in the open and like died. And
no, He just lagged out.
He just died into then yeah, the pause feature should have been used, and I think someone who is more well versed in Apex should be behind that feature instead of some random technical trainer that probably might not know the game very well.
But overall, FaZe proved that they are without a doubt a top contender, placing top 5 on the international stage, which means heading into champs with all of that room for improvement, the sky is the limit for FaZe Clan. So let's take this moment to reflect a little bit. My most viewed video of all time is my Split 1 FaZe Clan What Went Wrong video. And here we are a split later, a LAN later, and they're a top 5 team in the world, which just goes to show how important it is to get the right pieces around each other, and the results will follow. But if you want to see how not only FaZe Clan plays top 5 at this LAN, but Oxygen or Dark Zero, please click right over here. And also shout out to all my patrons. If you want to check out how you can support me even further over on Patreon, click the link in the description.